Welcome back to another episode of the Working in Hockey podcast. I'm your host, Nick Bowins, and today I'm joined by a good friend, shooting coach Mike. Mike, how you doing, man?
Thanks a lot for having me here again. I'm excited. Love what you're doing with this page, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. So,
Absolutely. And speaking of helping a lot of people, you have helped my shot immensely since we first connected about 3 years ago via Sherwood there. I mean, right off the rip here, Mike, tell the people what you're up to and what you do day to day.
I am, I guess I'd be most known for my shooting stuff. I do coach a bit of everything, though. I like to go over everything, but I do it in order for a reason, and have kind of a system that I like to work and a systematic approach to everything. So, yeah, it's pretty fun and it's a great job. I can't really complain. Get to shoot pucks all day and help people get better. And it's pretty awesome. Something I never really thought I'd be doing for sure. Like I actually didn't even know it was available out there. And like you're doing with your page, it's cool to see that there's different avenues than just making it to the NHL, where you can make a living in hockey if you just love the game. So.
Yeah, so how'd you first kind of get involved in coaching, Mike, and walk me through your playing days as well? I know you had a cup of coffee in pro, you played in a couple of different areas, you're quite the player yourself, but what was that transition from playing days to coaching?
Yeah, so I did have a pretty severe injury. It was more like over time, my spine, my disc issues. So I had all kinds of back problems and I ended up having a spine surgery, and that kind of ended my playing. But when I was playing, I was looking for any training I could find. And yeah, I got in with a great company and started looking at the coaching route. And I worked there for a few years and had some really cool experiences and learned a lot of great stuff. And then just kind of went off on my own. And you know, I never stopped learning and working on getting better myself. Like I wish I knew a lot of the stuff that I know now when I was still playing. I think everybody could probably say that, but now my main goal is to just give back and help others so that they don't have to have that regret or say, oh, I wish I knew this stuff earlier. Trying to just get it out there, get the information out there and help as many people as I can. And that's what's probably one of the most rewarding things about the job for me, being able to just help others and, share what I've learned. And it's been awesome. So.
Yeah, no, that's super cool to hear. And I honestly think like through my playing days, and I'm sure you would attest to, like those are the best coaches are the ones that are doing it for the joy of it, for the passion of it, because they truly love the sport. They truly love helping people, right? The coaches who are in it to make a buck or in it for the wrong intentions, wrong reasons, those are the coaches that nobody sees eye to eye with, right? So like you said, you're doing it for the love of the game and the love of the craft, right?
It helps get me better too. I honestly think through coaching, it's made me a better player as well, because
Yeah.
now I am almost hyper focused on showing them all the right movements, making sure everything's, done right first instead of just fast as you can or whatever. Do it right, then we add the speed. So by always showing it the right way, kind of slow while walking through the motions, it makes me be like, okay, got to do this right so that they know what it looks like. And then, through coaching, I really think it's just made me a better player as well. So.
I find a lot of times when I verbalize or vocalize something to somebody, it helps me realize it too. Whether it's like playing roller hockey, I'll be like, hey, you got to shoot from there. You got to shoot from there. And then, oh, I should shoot from there too. I'm telling everybody else to, right? So all these things, as you kind of teach others, like you said, you are able to pick up on it and learn from it yourself too.
Yep. And it's something that I'm still working on. I have people all the time say, well, they'll either ask when they're starting, well, how many classes is this going to take? Or, how long until I'm shooting perfect? And I'm like, I'm still working on my shot like every day, whether it be through coaching or I'm actually going and shooting a few hundred pucks myself. I still like to try to get myself better every day. It's just, it is, it's kind of a cliche thing at this point, but falling in love with the process of just getting better and trying to get better every day. I want to be one of the best when it comes to shooting. And that was kind of my goal when I started playing in hockey in general. Like I said, I was like, well, I'm going to go to the NHL now. And obviously that ship has probably sailed, but it's just, that's been my mentality from the start. Is I was like, I want to get good at what I do, and it's probably the first time that I ever had that real drive with any job or anything. And I was like, I'm going to just get great at this. And through working with some of the best players in the world, it's really cool. And it helped me a lot to actually see just their consistency, their love for getting better every day, and seeing how hard they work. And, actually, it was one of my buddies who he played in the East Coast. He was probably one of the first pros that I ever actually skated with when I was first skating. But I just followed everything that he did. His name is Justin Breton, but he was a guy who, like, when I was first starting out, I was very lost, no idea what I was doing. But he just showed me, like, through his actions, how hard he worked every day, skating, going into the gym, and I just followed his every moves. And it was really cool to see how hard some of these guys work and the work they put in, and that's what it takes too, for sure. So.
Absolutely. And I think that's honestly one thing that's really cool about what you and so many other skills coaches, shooting coaches, skating coaches, otherwise are able to do today is, if you're a youth hockey coach growing up, you're coaching one team, you're coaching a group of 15, 9-year-olds, and it's the same group all year. But what you're able to do, you're working with NHL players, AHL players, ECHL players, all the way down to 5, 6, 7-year-olds, right? You're touching every level of hockey, every age within the game too. So talk to me a little bit about your approach to coaching, how it changes from a Charlie Coyle to a 7-year-old single A player.
So yeah, that's as far as how I coach it, like I said, I pretty much follow the same system for everybody, because at the end of the day, what I'm teaching is the mechanics, how the stick's going to be best used, how your body is using the stick. So I don't change anything in terms of, that with the ages. But with a kid, I might be able to say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to shoot. If I said that to an NHL player, they'd say, well, who the heck are you? So, when it comes to the NHL guys and stuff, it's more of, I'm going to teach you what you're already doing, but you might not understand what you're doing. It's not that I'm going to give you a better or harder shot, but if you have a better understanding of what you are doing, you can self-correct better, get more consistency, build muscle memory, and through that, yeah, I mean, every goal counts at that level. So sometimes it's the little details. Actually, it's always the little details that start to separate once you go up and up and up. So, those smaller details like not shooting from the heel, and just little things like that. That seems to be one of, and actually not squeezing is another huge one. So many players just squeeze and work harder than they need to.
Yep.
And that's another major thing that changes. I think the pros and the higher up you go, that becomes one of the main issues is people just work harder than they need to, similar to a golf swing. It's like, trust the club, trust the stick, let let the tools do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it's very interesting thinking about how, like you said, the approach doesn't change from pros to kids, but how you frame it does. And a lot of times as a coach, whether again you're coaching a team or you're coaching skills, like how you frame things, how you position them, that's what matters most, right? You see so many times, especially in football, I feel like a college coach can be a legend, a legacy, the best college football coach ever. You put them in a room with NFL players and they aren't able to get their message across and it doesn't work out because you're talking to different people all the time. And like I say, I think that's one of the really cool things that you're able to do is talk to so many different people, explain it so many different ways and really dumb it down for people like me, but also get super technical for some of the guys who do have a little bit more experience.
It is. It's fun, and it's cool trying to figure out each player. There's also just everyone learns some different ways. There are some people I could just talk to and they're just going to hear what I'm saying and be like, "All right, got it. Good." Some people are like me. I'm not a listener. In school the teacher could talk all day long and I didn't hear a word. But if I see it on video, if for me, I'd say I'm more of a kinetic learner where I actually have to feel what's going on, and that's where sometimes the in-person classes is the only way you're going to get that. but there's videos, some people need to see it, some people need to feel it, some people need to hear it. So there's figuring that out as well. That's why I like the one-on-one approach. It's rare that I work with teams. Like if I was going to work with teams, I would say, hey, well, just send me a few kids at a time and I'll stay
Sure.
here for a few hours a day and work in smaller groups. But I'm not going to work with all 20 people because it just doesn't work that way when it comes to shooting and teaching the shot mechanics, because they're going to be shooting 50 pucks. But if I'm watching, even 3 people shoot 50 pucks, it's not like, every single shot, I want to tell you what you did wrong, what you did right, so that you can start to feel that and understand. It's never just, oh, that was a bad shot. Well, why was it a bad shot? You need to understand that. Why was it a good shot too? So.
Absolutely, absolutely. What's next for you? What's long-term goal? Where would you like to see your career continue to go? Your socials are obviously. I watch your TikTok for hours on end because your shot's insane. I know you're continuing to work on the social side of things, but as a coach, as a hockey lover, where else do you see your career going from here, Mike?
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, I love what I'm doing right now, so I am very happy. But there's obviously always room for growth. I would love to get in with some NHL teams eventually and start doing more stuff with them. It's kind of interesting to me that there's not like shot specific training, even during season for some teams. Um, so that's kind of where I think eventually in the next few years, I could see that there's going to be more of that. Um, but I don't know. You never know. But that's definitely, something that I would like to do. But either way, I'm sticking with the smaller group approach,
Yeah.
no matter what comes next. It's just I've done it all. And as far as results go, it just is always the best way to get results is smaller groups, or the more one-on-one you can get, the better. So that's how I'd like to, frame it. And I'd like to maybe get into some development camps or something, and like you said, just keep growing the social media stuff. But that's more for everybody else. I honestly, I I don't love social media. I hate it, honestly. If it wasn't, I do it to try to help people. It's that's right now. It's almost more of a stress than it is than a joy. But when people message me and say, hey, I love your videos, they've helped my shot a lot, then that, it makes it worth it. And it's pretty cool that I can also just reach so much more people through there. I loved your piece about networking. I forget exactly who you were talking to, but you're just talking about the importance of networking. I think you actually were just, I think you just put out a piece on it on your own, but you were talking about the importance of networking. And that's another reason why I think I've gotten anywhere with my career is I have no problem just talking to everybody. I like
Yeah.
talking to people. And I think that when you're a good person, people want to help you and they see it and they just, I think that that's one of the reasons why I've gotten anywhere with hockey is just through exactly that. I had no problem just reaching out to random teams, coaches, agents, and just saying, hey, and tons of rejection, tons of people saying, oh no, not gonna happen. But it still is, the few that do connect, it grows more and more and more through that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear, and I think that's exactly it. You're able to use your social platforms, A, to help people, and B, to meet people who maybe you help them, maybe you help somebody they know, maybe it's just a network or connection to have, right? Like, it's just commenting back and forth on every video you guys share together, talking tips, talking strategies, talking about how you approach different players there. That's the benefit of social media. The other stuff, it can stink for sure, but that's the benefit of social media. Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit about some of the intricacies of shooting and what you do. Obviously, you're very in tune with your sticks, your mechanics, everything. Talk to me about how sticks have changed over the past decade or so, especially, and where you see the game continuing to evolve as it revolves around shooting.
Probably just the biggest change, especially from the old wooden sticks or even that old aluminum stick. My
Yeah,
dad had one of those back in the day, and I still never forget it. It's just so it was like a 200 flex. That's
so
what it
heavy.
felt like. but being able to use the flex, it's like I said, if you're using the stick the right way, it's similar to a golf swing. You got little kids who probably hit a golf ball. I know they hit a golf ball better than me. I'm not a great golfer, but they can just crank it because they're letting the club do the work for them. And that's kind of why there is all these, even they have all the way down to 15, 10 flexes on some sticks. And it's great because it lets kids at an early age start to feel that flex and understand, okay, this is how I'm going to get my power. One of the things that I always teach, though, as far as with the shot, I get everybody kind of away from the old school wrist shot. It's a bit too slow, it takes too long. And again, what the sticks are designed to do is they're all designed more for that snapshot in my mind, if they're being made correctly. But I don't know if you need to cut that part out for any. But anyways, but it's like I always tell people, I'm not going to punch someone with my hand already on them. There's no sound. So when there's space, and that's how you create that snap versus a wrist shot, you're going to get more pop and power behind it. So at every age, even the little kids, I try to get them snapping as soon as possible. I think it's super important. So
Yeah, no, like you said, make
sorry,
the stick do the work. All good, all good. Like you said, make the stick do the work. You used to hear it all the time in baseball, like make the ball do the work, right? If the pitcher's throwing it hard, it's going to come hard off your bat. And I think hockey's coming around on that kind of mantra and philosophy a little bit where, hey, the puck's the puck, but if you use your stick like it's supposed to be used, you don't have to drag and pull and put 150 pounds of muscle into a shot right. You can just time it right, bend it right, flex it right, and the mechanics are the important part.
well, the other thing that I would say is also to that note is that there is just no time for all that anymore.
Yeah.
The game's just getting faster and faster. It used to be, and I think also part of the only reason that I probably played any pro at the time when I did wasn't because I couldn't shoot the way I shoot now, and I honestly didn't have the hands or hardly any of the stuff that I know now. But like I said, I would go out and hit people, and I was big and could still skate. So I think that was a big part of why I was able to play. But I think about my playing style then and what I am now, and the way the game is now. I would have just, it's probably why I didn't go any higher, is because I didn't have the speed, the skill, and the quickness, especially with the shot. And those are the things that are starting to matter more. The big, strong guys. I mean, McDavid kind of looks like me. He's not like a big, strong guy. His legs are probably 10 times the size of mine, but it's the speed and quickness. It's not so much those guys that are, huge anymore and going out and hitting people. Those guys are getting skated circles around. Speed is always going to kill, and speed is the best, that best skill I think you can have, whether it be with shooting, skating, explosiveness, and speed. They're fun to watch. It really is.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing Stanley Cup final, of course. I kind of wish the Oilers won, but it is what it is. Give the people some hope, Mike. When did you start shooting the way that you do now? When did you kind of change your mechanics and understand everything that you know now? How long has this ride been to get your shot to where it is today?
On my social of kind of when I started skating, me shooting around. And I think it was 2015 was the first time that I stepped back onto the ice for the first time. So I played through high school till about 2020, and then I didn't play at all for about 5 years. Um, and that's when I just jumped back on the ice, not expecting at this point to be like, all right, I'm going to go try to play. I was just like, oh, there was a free stick time, and I ended up being the only one on the ice. It was really cool. And then from there, like I said, I kind of through networking, I just ran into people at the rinks, and through that, I ran into someone random that was like, "Oh, we have this pro tour. We go out to Europe and play over in Sweden and Finland, and pro teams are looking for guys." I was like, "All right, well, that gives me a reason to start training and working my butt off." So that's kind of what started that. But yeah, I have a progression video from 2015 till pretty much today. You can see my shot pretty much in real time. A lot of my videos are just from, okay, I just went out and shot pucks today. Here's some of my good shots, So, like I said, I'm still working on it. I would love to be more consistent. I don't think you could ever have enough consistency. And that's another thing that, I can't preach enough to kids is like I said, there's no magic answer too. I could teach you all the best things about mechanics, but if you're not actually going and working on it every day, and not even just, I don't mean just shooting, but working on, again, those smaller details of the shot, how you separate the puck, what your follow through is looking like, why it all matters. And the more you understand, again, the more you can fix, and that's going to lead to that consistency.
Totally, totally. Last one here, Mike, in terms of advice for the next generation of coaches, people to looking to get into coaching, what advice or tips would you give from the experiences you've picked up?
You do have to do it because you love it. I think that's, it's like you said, people can kind of see when you have a passion for it or when you're just, there to make a few dollars. So yeah, you gotta love it. But yeah, Stan Bowman was the one who actually said to me recently, he said, just keep being the best at what you do, and that way when opportunities come up, you're going to be ready. And that was good. And that's why with coaching, I could make more money easily if I put a few kids out there, did camps with 10 kids on the ice, or whatever. But I really would rather get people better, and that's also what spread the word for me. Like, I just started some of the social media
Mhm.
stuff maybe 2, maybe 3 years ago, kind of when I got in with Sherwood. But but before that, I didn't do anything, and I didn't do any marketing. I just simply took a kid that couldn't shoot and said, "Hey, we're going to change a shot," and then they went back to their team and practiced the next day and could all of a sudden shoot. And that's how the word spread. So, you know, get good at what you're doing, and the results are going to kind of speak for themselves. And you're not going to have to worry about going out and reaching out to a million different people trying to struggle to find classes. The classes just kind of come to me, and it's been the easiest thing I've ever had to do. And it's also easier to just focus on one kid at a time, because like I said, now I can actually figure out, okay, this is what this kid needs, this is how he needs it, and this is what's going to make him better. Sometimes it simply is just confidence for kids too.
Yeah.
They really have all the skill that they need, but they just aren't confident in themselves, or whatever. So I've always been good at reading people too. And I think that that's, an important just skill to have, understanding people, and knowing how to talk to them and what they need. And some kids do need a kick in the ass, and some kids need to be kind of just like, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. So
Totally. The
yeah.
joys of coaching. Everybody is different. But Mike, this has been awesome, man. You're the best. You're one of my favorite people in hockey, and glad that we were able to connect on working in hockey here. Tell the people where they can find you online and what to watch for.
Is the name of my company and page there. So I'm on mainly TikTok and Instagram. I should be doing more with YouTube. That will be coming eventually, but yeah, so keep an eye out for that. But those are the two best pages to find me at. And yeah, no, I'm looking forward to some more Hockey Collective collabs in the future too. So got to check out them too as well. So
Definitely. No, we'll have some good stuff coming. Mike, this is perfect. Thank you very much.